I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. Donald Trump is issuing statements on his failing social media platform in response to the fact that the Department of Justice filed a notice of appeal and motion for partial stay, responding to the Trump-appointed judge Aileen Cannon's order granting a special master and enjoining the government from using documents as obtained on August 8th in connection with the lawfully executed search warrant at Mar-a-Lago in connection with its ongoing criminal investigation into Trump. And when you see these statements by Donald Trump, I mean, these are desperate, these are insane, these are dangerous. Let me show you the statements that he issued immediately following the Department of Justice's motion. Donald Trump wrote, "So now the FBI and Biden Department of Justice leakers are going to spend millions of dollars and vast amounts of time and energy to appeal the order on the, quote, raid of Mar-a-Lago document hoax by a brilliant and courageous judge whose words of wisdom rang true throughout our nation. Instead of fighting the record-setting corruption and crime that is taking place right before their very eyes, they spied on my campaign, lied to FISA court, told Facebook quiet, preside over, worst crime wave ever." I mean, this is some real dangerous lunatic stuff that I just read for you. I mean, let's just go through it. I mean, first off, calling this again a hoax. Everything for Trump is a hoax if it somehow is not what goes along with his criminal conduct. It's therefore a hoax. Then calling this judge brilliant and courageous, and that her words of wisdom rang true throughout our nation. I mean, Judge Aileen Cannon is just a complete clown of a judge at this point, and she's now locked at the hip with this wannabe fascist, and she's supporting this type of absurd conduct. Also attacking law enforcement, attacking the FBI, attacking the Department of Justice. He puts justice in quotes, and again goes over, all of the kind of disproven conspiracy stuff about having his campaign spied on, and again, insane capital letters. Then he continues with this post. "They leak, lie, plant fake evidence, allow the spying on my campaign, deceive the FISA court, raid and break into my home, lose documents, and then they ask me as the 45th president of the United States to trust them. Look at the IG reports on Comey, McCabe, and others. Things are safer in the middle of Central Park." Again, insane, conspiracy, dangerous, criminal. And here accusing the FBI and DOJ following their motion that they leak, that they lie and plant fake evidence. So Donald Trump here is accusing the FBI and Department of Justice of lying and planting fake evidence into what he calls his home, which is a weird resort that he lives in. He's also saying that they break into my home. They did not. They got a lawful and valid search warrant where a magistrate judge found probable cause, and he is accusing law enforcement of engaging in criminal conduct. Donald Trump has previously called the Department of Justice and the FBI courageous law enforcement officers. He called them mobsters and vicious monsters. That's what he called them at his fascist clown circus rally at Wilkes-Barre in Pennsylvania this last weekend. And again, accusing them of planting fake evidence and lying. And again, serious accusations, of course, false, that he's leveling against the Department of Justice and FBI. Now, what is this in response to? Of course, the Department of Justice filed its notice of appeal and motion for partial stay to appeal Judge Cannon's clearly unlawful order. But in the motion for partial stay, what the Department of Justice focused on, and we did a prior video of breaking news when the Department of Justice filed its motion. You should all go back and read that motion for partial stay. But what it did is it told Judge Cannon, it said, look, your order's completely wrong. The fact that you want all of these documents to go to a special master, it goes completely against the law. Criminal Law 101 is that we obtain the documents that are subject to the search warrant. Top secret, sensitive, compartmented information belongs to the government. The government records belong to it. And if other documents happen to be intermingled based on the search warrant, those are demonstrative of the crime that you were intermingling and concealing personal property with property that didn't belong to you that you stole. And under any warrant understanding, you're entitled as the Department of Justice or any issuing party who issues the warrant to get that documents. But they go, Judge, let's set that aside. What we want to focus here on our motion for partial stay is that what shouldn't go in front of the special master and what we should not be enjoined or stopped from using are the 100 confidential records, those top secret, sensitive, compartmented records and confidential records, which we've already reviewed. Those are already separated from all the other documents. So fine, you want the special master to look through all the other government documents. Doesn't have a right to do that, but fine. We could deal with that on appeal. And you want to deal with other potential records, fine, but not these 100 confidential documents. And what that does is it really smokes Donald Trump out, because his only way to oppose that motion that the Department of Justice filed is to say, no. Those confidential records are mine, and specifically narrows it on the top secret confidential records. So if Trump says, I'm claiming that I own and possess those records, he's therefore stipulating to the crime. And if Judge Cannon now specifically has to address these 100 documents as opposed to what she did in her other order, which is she tried to conflate those confidential records with all of the other records to try to claim that's why a special master was needed. Again, special master absolutely was against the law, should not be appointed here at all. There's no basis for it. But now she would have to rule that, no, I'm going to stop the executive branch from reviewing its own top secret confidential records. I'm not allowing the executive branch to look at its own executive branch documents. The DOJ is the executive branch. So she has to make that finding and basically say, no, I'm going to imperil the entire nation and say that a former president should be able to stop the current executive branch from reviewing its own records simply because the former president stole it. It was such a brilliant legal maneuver to focus on that. And Trump knows he's been checkmated. That's what's so brilliant about it. Trump knows for what he has to do now is claim that those confidential records belong to him. He then admits to the crimes. He does nothing. They get to look at that and pursue the investigation. The law of holes has stopped digging, and boy, oh boy, did Donald Trump and his lawyers keep digging. And with statements like this that he just issued, keeps on digging and demonstrating what a raging lunatic criminal that he is. These are insane statements, and these are statements that the MAGA Republican Party supports. These are statements that they live with. This is who the MAGA Republican Party is right now. Sickening, disgusting, despicable, dangerous statements by a despicable and dangerous man who leads a despicable fascist party. This has been Mycelis from the MeidasTouch Network. Hey, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Need you to join the fastest growing independent media company and pro-democracy movement in the world. Hit the subscribe button. Also, we just got a Patreon account. Go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. That's patreon.com/MeidasTouch. You could also, again, subscribe here, patreon.com/MeidasTouch, or go to store.MeidasTouch.com. Check out the MeidasTouch merch. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.